Okay, it's 10 o'clock. I will call the Harrison County Commission meeting for Wednesday, June 4th, 2025 to order. If you will rise and join us in the invocation and pledge, please.
Heavenly Father, today I processed and tried to think of what to say today. Sometimes you have to do it for us. We don't know what to say or what to do, but we do know that we don't hold tightly to you, Father. You hold tightly to us. And we just pray, Holy Spirit, come, intervene for us today, to be a part of our lives, and so we can never avoid you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have number one, public comment period. I have Lloyd Parrish.
I live in Enterprise. I'd like to address the fireworks issue here. We have a major problem going on down there. We have fireworks starting as early as 6 o'clock in the morning and continuing on till 2 and 3 o'clock in the evening. This has been a daily occurrence for months now. It's not just occasional. We have addressed these people, me and my son, with no response. We've asked him to limit it down to a weekend or a Saturday or something. Continuing on every day. Have elderly people, calling family members, thinking oxygen tanks is blowed up that they're on. Veterans waking up, having flashbacks. Not to say what it does to our animals. Can't get my animals outside. Nobody else can. Due to this, scared to death. You know, this is elderly abuse, animal abuse. These things aren't small firecrackers. They're being heard all the way to East Shenstone and Bethlehem, which is approximately 3 miles away. This gentleman here can verify that. What we'd like for you to do is take the ordinance City of Shenstone has and use it to try to slow this down and give us some help down here because we are in desperate need. You know, we can't get any rest with our animals in the evenings. Our elderly is being abused. Something needs done. And I understand it's a county issue further than what we are, but I don't know these people. I've heard these rumors. So if someone could help us and consider adopting this ordinance, get it enforced, we deeply appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Virginia Titchener.
I also live at Enterprise, own a trailer court down there. And I was asked to come to this meeting, and my daughter is my power of attorney, so she wanted me to come too. But Mr. Parrish is telling you the truth. There are right behind my trailer court, night and day, 7 days a week. There is guns getting shot, and I know a difference between a gun. I was raised around guns, and I know the difference between a gun getting pulled the trigger, one pop right after the other one. Right on the rail trail behind my trailer court, there is fireworks getting put off, and with the bushes and the trees, even on dry days. And there was even some put off last night, and it's been going on now for months, since way back probably 8 months ago, night and day. And some of them were so big, they sound like sticks of dynamite because they shake I've got a stick built like a modular house, but they shake my windows, and I've got a lot of glassware on my walls and in my china cupboards, and they'll shake my glassware clear to the edges of where it's ready to fall out the doors of it, and I got to keep putting it back. But we need a noise ordinance provision down there if we could ask for one. There's problems with, cats, the homeless breaking into our places, drug addicts that are walking night and day on the streets with their backpacks on, and I've got a great big fence behind my trailer court clear across, and it's heavy, thick wire, and they're coming up and even coming across my fence, tearing it up and stuff in the nighttime. And it does scare, like right now, I've only got one tenant due to COVID and everything, but she's got a little 2 or 3 year old child. It's scaring that little boy to death. My grandson moved back from Michigan. He lives in with his mother in my first unit down there. He's got a real nice, well-behaved dog, but she's always been babied, and it's scaring that dog to the point she just shakes all over and jumps into bed with them or wherever she can go to get where she thinks someone's protecting her. And I won't mention no names, but we have a cat problem down there too. And I mean, it is rampant. Breeding of cats, no one really feeding them or taking care of them. But we need some help down there. I have called the police several times and I'm told, well, stay with the phone, they'll call you back. Months go by and they never call back. But then there will be some nice ones that they'll come down and they'll come to my door and they'll talk nice to me and tell me, well, there's not too much we can do about it because we can't catch them on their 4-wheelers and stuff. We can't just come out and catch the cats. And most of them are feral cats, and I do catch them and take the ones I can once in a while to the animal shelter. Is that my time limit?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sean Jeju.
Well, good morning, commissioners. I come before you originally.
Identify yourself.
My name is Sean Jeju. I came before you to follow up on a request for funding that I had submitted several weeks back at the beginning of April that I hadn't heard anything about, but that issue has been resolved. But I did want to speak to the purpose of the request for funding. It's not just to pay somebody to care for lawn. We've come up with a long-term strategy for maintenance of the cemeteries as far as lawn care goes. The equipment would be basically these AI autonomous robot unit lawnmowers that cost about $5,000 a piece. They mow quietly. They mow 24 hours a day, recharge themselves and all that. It's more cost efficient for our small nonprofit. So I just wanted to know where the funding request would go. The purpose of the request to keep these sites looking nice is, while some don't believe there's actually a tourism draw, I partner with the Clarksburg History Museum, and they do have a lot of interest in these cemeteries due to the history that is in the cemeteries, like Elkview Masonic, which we recently acquired in 2023, along with Green Lawn when the Masonic Lodge pulled back due to, I don't know, something inside their organization. That those two brought us to a total of 5 cemeteries, total of 55 acres in Harrison County that we are responsible for. And each cemetery does have specific individuals that are important to the cities they are in. Like, to go back to Elkview Masonic Cemetery, the Honorable Governor Howard Mason Gore is interred in the mausoleum, and we are struggling to get the mausoleum roof addressed, which was an issue that was passed to us by the Masonic Lodge and their prior operator they had. So, I mean, this isn't a frivolous request for funding. There's legitimate numbers that back up tourism draw. There are people that come from all over this country to visit some of these individuals. South Chestnut Street, John Snyder Carlisle, the architect of West Virginia, he's interred there. And for years, we've struggled just to get enough volunteers and enough funding to even make a dent in the monument damage over there. I mean, I've reached out to the state legislature. I've reached out to numerous foundations, numerous businesses. And I guess due to the current economic downturn and the tariffs and uncertainty, they're struggling to even think about donating. I've had sponsors pull back on me because of this economic situation. So, I mean, I just want you guys to be aware of what we're trying to do, and that it is, if you're looking at it from a business standpoint, it does help draw tourism. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, it is 10:09 and we have a 10:05 William Watson Estate hearing. I believe the attorneys are still in the hallway trying to work this out. They want to request a hold off. You all need more time, or do you think you?
Yeah, but if, I mean, we were called in, so we,
Well, I just want to get it on the record. That's all.
oh, okay.
If you guys want to request more time, thinking you might be able to get somewhere, I don't think these guys will object, would you?
How long have we been going through it?
Not
You want
long.
me to answer that? Yeah, so, up until about 4 days ago, kind of the trajectory changed. It was, everything was sort of amicable. It was, but then about 4 days ago, the response was filed by the other side, so. We find ourselves since last Thursday or Friday in a kind of a different position than we were in when this was filed.
We
Yes.
have, well, yeah, we have the copy of the. I think the problem is. Ms. Watson filed as administratrix, correct? And your client has a copy of the will. And she would like to have the copy of the will probated.
Correct.
And we're not agreeing there.
And then our position is that the law requires an original will for admission to probate. And that if the original is not found, that the default position is that the testator changed his mind and revoked the original. I think if the commission would be so inclined to table this portion until later on in the meeting, maybe we could have some time to work things out and get back with you and report. And then if we don't, we can proceed with making arguments before you, and then you can make your decision or a recommendation otherwise.
How much time do you think you'll need?
I would say if we don't resolve it in, excuse me, 15 or 20 minutes, then, you know, it's not gonna get resolved.
20 minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
And at 10:10, we have a proclamation for Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. Whereas Alzheimer's disease is a degenerative brain disease and the most common cause of dementia. Dementia is not a specific disease, it's an overall term that describes a group of symptoms. And whereas nearly 7 million Americans are currently living with Alzheimer's. And whereas about 38,100 West Virginians aged 65 plus are currently living with Alzheimer's, including 1,400 in Harrison County. And whereas more than 11 million American caregivers provide over 18 billion hours of unpaid care. And whereas everyone is unique, experts have identified common warning signs of Alzheimer's disease, including memory loss, confusion about time and place, struggling to complete familiar tasks, trouble finding appropriate words, difficulty in judging situations, and changes in mood and personality. And whereas Alzheimer's disease can be diagnosed by a physician, they may use medical history, mental status tests, physical and neurological exams, diagnostic tests, and brain imaging. And whereas there is no cure for Alzheimer's, but there are treatments that may change disease progression and drug and non-drug options that may help treat symptoms. Understanding available options can help individuals living with the disease and their caregivers to cope with symptoms and improve quality of life. And whereas there is an urgent need to raise awareness and understanding about Alzheimer's disease and all other dementia, and whereas the Alzheimer's Association West Virginia chapter is committed to support services, education advocacy, and research on behalf of those living with Alzheimer's or other dementia and their caregivers. And whereas there is a 24/7 professionally staffed free helpline, 800-27-3900, for anyone seeking information, local resources, crisis assistance, and emotional support. And whereas the North Central Walk to End Alzheimer's is in Meadowbrook Mall on October 5th, 2025. And whereas citizens can visit alz.org for additional information on Alzheimer's and other dementia. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Harrison County Commission does declare June Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month in Harrison County and urge all citizens to become more aware and educated concerning Alzheimer's disease. Asked by the County Commission of Harrison County, West Virginia, this 4th day of June 2025. And mine's not signed by everybody, but this one is.
First of all, I want to thank the commission for honoring us with this proclamation. This is the first step in getting the word out to the public, what it means to have brain health is so important. And brain health, keep your brain healthy means to keep your body healthy. And I hate to say it, but that Mediterranean diet, low in fat, a lot of fruits, vegetables, nuts, everything that we've been doing, that also helps the brain. So I just want to encourage everybody, please think about your brain health. I see it, somebody in purple, I believe, that row, thank you for supporting, whether you knew it or not. And I see Susan with her purple. So this month, we're asking folks, wear your purple, talk about why you're wearing it. And we ask businesses to decorate their windows in purple. And for all of us, talk about it. And just remember, the Harrison County Senior Center, we do have a support group. Our director is here, Beth Fitzgerald. And then we have Betty Audie, who's for our planning committee for our walk on October 5. We encourage you to come out for our walk on October 5, Meadowbrook Mall. Beth, did you want to say anything about the legislation?
We did get a Alzheimer's dementia coordinator for West Virginia to help pull all of our resources together to let people know statewide. So watch for upcoming stuff.
Yes, we're so proud of our 4 delegates and our senators who represent us down there in Charleston that we all supported this initiative. Legislation was Bill 2575. A group of us went down from our county on Alzheimer's Advocacy Day and talked with our legislators. We did get approved, so we're very proud of that. And this will help us get grants in our county or in our state that our counties has more support. We do have our Alzheimer's support group with the Senior Center. I may have said that, but please, if you know anybody who needs help, please call us. We also have in-home care, so it's going to give attention to this. And Susan's on our board with us, representing the commission. I'm vice president. Ryan Kennedy is our president, and David is our treasurer. So thank you all very much. Thank you.
But yeah, I'm
Okay, 10:15 special funding request from the city of Shinston requesting $1,000 to cover cost of the Shindy Music Festival. Now I know why you're here.
Hello, Commissioners. Thank you. My name is Brendan Gallagher. I'm the economic developer for the city of Shinston. Shinston has become very progressive in our approach to promoting the arts and culture of West Virginia. And that culminates every year in our Shindy Music Festival, which is a celebration of arts and culture. We have over, this is our year number 3, and we have 10 artists from West Virginia that will be performing top notch. People don't realize the amazing music that is coming out of the state of West Virginia. And our goal is to really highlight that and bring people to Shinston to experience our amazing park. If you've not been to Ferguson Memorial Park, it's one of the most beautiful parks anywhere in Harrison County. And I'll stand by that. And but it's an amazing day. We have lots of vendors, food trucks, and then of course the music and bounce houses for kids. It's just a festival celebrating that. And we are requesting funding from the commission to help us offset some of the costs and to help us be able to promote it better.
Thank you. Motion's been made to give $1,500 for the one-day event. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Thank you very much. And also I'd like to invite you to Wind Down Wednesday tonight in Shinston. Kick off of our
Okay, now I guess we're to number 2 consent agenda. What's the pleasure?
Move to approve consent agenda.
Motion to remove the consent agenda. Is there any discussion?
To approve.
Huh?
Sit to move.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motions, is there any discussion, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, motion carried. Back on track here. Number 3, payroll change notices. What's the pleasure?
Move to accept resignation of Julie Pierce from 911 effective 5/27/2025.
Motion to accept the resignation of Julia Pierce effective 5/27/25. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 4, minutes and/or amended minutes of previous meetings, A and B. What's the pleasure?
Move to approve minutes for May 7th, 2025, and for the work session, May 15th, 2025, as presented.
Motion to approve the minutes from May 27th, 2025, and work session of May 15th, 2025, as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Requisition, purchase orders, invoices. We have A through D. What's the pleasure?
Move to approve A, B, and D.
Okay. We're leaving C out.
C for discussion.
Okay. Motion is to approve 5A, B, and D, and C will be for discussion. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So the motion is to approve A, B, and C, A, B, and D.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now we're gonna discuss C.
Yes, I just left that open as make sure that we're all aware of what. If there's any questions or issues, we've had several the last few meetings, so. I don't know. if
You know, I
there's
should have
anything
pulled
that's
this,
come
I
up.
had some questions, but I don't think it was anything earth shattering. Should have pulled those. I know there was, the one that's on the top, but I just looked at again was
The one that I'm
for
on
911.
was the travel and training.
It was pre-approved, but were there meals included?
Yes, they were originally, but if they do not turn in an agenda that specifically says that these meals were included or excluded.
But we
it
don't
won't be paid
reimburse
for
them those funds.
That is correct.
Okay, but are we signing that before we've gotten proof of the food?
Sometimes we do. In this case, we do not. because we don't have proof of what meals and
That's not
everything.
included in the requisition.
Correct, and that's what we're waiting on. I mean, we can approve it pending whether we accept meals to be reimbursed or not, depending on what.
But
the
that is
agenda-
included on the requisition. It's my-
Yes,
Okay, that was my question. That's what caught my eye. I can go pull those others, but.
Would you like to look at any of the others before we vote?
I can go get them if you want. Okay, that's all these. We still have some truest bills. And I guess some of these are a little bit large as far as interest. Do we know what's gonna go on with that? That's my, is interest accruing on these? It's a truest.
do you mean that those statements are old?
No, this is April.
So if there is interest accruing, that those receipts have not been turned in or not been paid, then whoever's, well, we'll cover ours. And I believe the first one is county commission. Because some receipts were not turned back yet. Now, starting next month, we will be using the new credit cards. The sheriff has got for everyone, where everything is broken down by department. So if for some reason, one of the departments, whether it's us, whether it's county clerk, whether it's prosecutor, whoever, so this is example, not that they have issues, would accrue some interest, they would be billed for it on their own separate bill, so we can keep track of who's doing what.
Okay, and the answer is on here. The guy just had a question what click to text was on a charge. And it's,
But we're still having the interest.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking. But I guess if we're gonna start a new credit card, hopefully that takes care of that issue.
And how's the new credit card gonna take care of the issue?
Because I think it'll be billed differently. Is that correct?
That is correct. So
Like
it
the
won't be
old-
one combined bill, everything will be broke down, but for some reason, county commission does not pay one of the charges on the bill and we accrue interest the next month, that interest only gets put on the county commission's bill. It doesn't go on the master bill that then we have to figure out the interest is what. So each department will be broken down that way.
Which is the previous credit card that we had before this one. That's how the account was set up, but this one was different.
Correct. This one changed.
And it's caused chaos. When it comes to interest.
We're good?
Yep. I'm good.
Thank you. I
No, thank
appreciate
you.
it.
No.
No. I know that we've had questions and we all
I just
can't
keep
catch them
questioning-
and.
I keep questioning the interest until we got it resolved.
and
But we'll let it
hopefully
go.
It gets resolved.
That's why I want to see your check.
So,
Couldn't help it, John.
move to approve vendor list of payments.
Okay, motion to approve 5C vendor list of payments. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, number 6, exoneration, corrective tickets, joint property applications. We only have exonerations, I take it.
That is correct, Madam President.
What's the pleasure?
Move to approve exonerations 6A that's presented in Exhibit A.
Motion to approve exonerations A as presented in Exhibit A. I think that's what I said. You said.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None, motion carried. Number 7, consideration of approval of a project fund requisition for the payment of costs associated with the project to be financed from proceeds of the Series 2019 bonds issued for the Charles Point Economic Opportunity Development District Series 2021 A and B, Development District Number 3, White Oaks Project Number 2, and Series 2008A Charles Point Project Number 2, Northland Bay Improvements, A through D.
Move to approve 7A, B, C, and D.
Motion to approve 7A, B, C, and D. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 8, review, discuss, consider budget revisions for general county fiscal year 2025, vital services levy, same fiscal year, and coal severance, same fiscal year.
So Madam President, the only one that we have today is for general county. With that, this is the $50,000 that we received from the Lipitor settlement that was received into revenue account 380. With that, the guidance from the state auditor's office is that we have to receipt it into this year's budget. With that, tried to figure out where to put that 50,000. I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago about, come back to you with a suggestion or whatnot. I would recommend at this time to move that 50,000 into courthouse for the purchase of a dump truck currently. Our dump truck that we use for the haul and gravel and everything on the rails to trails and throughout our different parks, haul in mulch or whatever it might be, is broke. It was repaired a couple weeks ago. Anyway, it is now broke once again. They don't know if they're going to be able to fix it. So I would recommend putting it in 459 for capital outlay equipment for a dump truck at this time.
What's broke?
The turbo,
That was my question.
the turbo engine.
Oh, so it's a fast.
It's the,
Well, I think it's turbo to be able to haul and everything.
I'm just
To give more, David can speak more on this than I.
I'm not touching this.
All I know is the turbo is broke. That's
I
all.
know.
It's broke, okay.
That's
I-
okay.
But that's all that's wrong with it.
My understanding is yes.
Are we liquidating the vehicle in this replacement, or are we gonna repair this vehicle after the fact and still buy a truck?
If we could repair it, that way we have two. Parks and Rec could use one and maintenance. That would be great. If it can't be repaired, then of course we would probably sell it on gov deals as is.
We're buying a new or used truck.
It is the quotes that we received
We're
are,
doing this the proper way when we do the quotes, right?
yes. So we gathered quotes and everything for it. It is a new. We received two quotes, both of them are new.
What size truck?
Silverado 3500 HD, regular cab pickup.
We have to buy this in pieces.
They're both the same.
Pieces come together.
So it's one complete unit. They don't
The-
have to build the dump truck.
It has the dump bed on it,
Yes.
and you could purchase it for 50.
So the total, the one quote we got is 59,458. And the other one is 68,900. So that 50 can go towards that purchase price.
What was the second one?
For 20,000, what?
68,900.
9,000 difference.
Yes, sir.
But we're okay to get these bids like this. We don't have to go out and open public bid. That's my question.
We can choose to go out to bid.
What's in our
And
policy?
put it, the only thing is, and Trey can speak better to this than I can.
I mean, correct me if I'm saying the wrong stuff, please.
I
But
think
you all
that-
go out and solicit bids from multiple companies.
They have.
Did you all spec
What you need?
what you need?
My understanding from that department is you have to expect what they need.
But right now, we're just voting to put the money in,
into that line item account,
but we're not gonna move forward with the purchase of the vehicle to stop.
correct net.
Okay. So you want it to go into 459.
424, 459, yes.
424, 459.
Yes,
Or-
yes, which is capital outlay equipment.
Okay, I'll let you go ahead, Susan. I make that motion, sort out what money's going.
Okay. Motion's been made to put the $50,000 from the, where was it?
It was the Lipitor settlement.
Lipitor settlement
settlement.
into 424, 459. And don't spend it until we have more information. How's
The
that?
amount of $50,000.
Correct, the budget revision is for 50,000.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and that's just for general county. That doesn't include anything vital services or coal severance.
That is correct, just general county business.
Okay. All under that. Okay, moving on. Number 9, review, discuss, consider hiring a firm to evaluate volunteer fire departments and to look at the best way to provide fire service to the county.
So Madam President, this is an agenda item that Commissioner Hinkle wanted on the agenda. We have been talking, especially with the levy, us having to work on the levy for the upcoming vital services levy that will be coming due, to do a study to actually find out exactly where we need help or what exactly, have subject matter experts come in to tell us where we're lacking, where we could improve and get their suggestions instead of us just trying
And
to
the
figure it
best
out.
way to fund this is what I'm after too.
Absolutely.
And what
Yes.
kind of
And what
funding that it'll take.
Does that make sense?
kind of funding it'll take now and what it'll look like within the next 5 years. So, you know, how much will it increase? 4 years?
Or if that's all we can do a levy for, so. Or whether we need to do a
Anyway,
Big.
fire fee.
countywide, fire fee. I think,
That's what we're trying to figure out.
we've hit a roadblock.
We know something needs to be done. Don't mean, I'm sorry. I
No,
don't mean to step on your-
we've hit a roadblock. I mean, the county can't financially afford to support the fire departments. I think on the scale that it needs, I don't think we can go out and do that on our own, and it's either gonna have to come through a levy or fire tax fee, and we're gonna have to look at the best way to service the people in the county with the fire service. And I don't even personally have an issue even whether the other 2 commissioners would consider even looking at our ambulance service that we provide our citizens as part of a look to see if we're doing the job that we think the citizens should have in this county. I think that's just right there with the fire service. Those are really
But I
2
would separate
important
them if
things.
we do that. One
Yes.
for ambulance and one for.
Yeah,
fire.
But I think it's,
Because some of the fire does ambulance too, right?
yeah, and I think that's what we need to look at is how we can step up and make us so that we can evaluate and make financial decisions that need to be done for the citizens on how we're gonna handle these changes. Because I think we all know volunteers are harder and harder to get. You guys know that. I mean, I gotta admit, I did it when I was young. The older I got, the less time I had, and finally didn't do it anymore. It just gets to, life changes and you just don't have the time. I know you guys run into that constantly, and I feel for it. I feel for the people of the county. I don't know any other way to try to help other than to begin this process so we can take a hard look at Harrison County and its emergency services. So.
Okay.
Study, something we're gonna pay for. We don't think we have enough in-house experience in Harrison County firefighting. Doing this on our own.
No, I don't. I don't.
I mean, Patsy, I think I'd like an independent outside look at us. And then I think then we can evaluate it. I
I'm not saying
understand
these
it'll
guys
cost,
can't.
but
But what I'm saying is this will's already been invented in the state of West Virginia. We don't have to reinvent the will.
But I
Why
don't,
are we paying for something that we already have access to?
because I don't know that, that's why I'd like for somebody to tell me how we can pay for what's already been in place, or is in place in a couple of counties. That's, I mean, I
We can't do that.
still gotta have the funds for it.
But we might, once we gather the information, we can't do that ourselves. Because what I want to vote against is percentage that, years ago, I thought this isn't a new problem. This is an issue for years. My problem should be paying somebody to do what we should do ourselves.
I think we've tried to do it on our own, and this is where we are. What's that?
When did we try that? When we ever met with the fire department individually?
Well, I've talked to several of them various times. I mean, I understand what some want, but I think we need to know as a commission, what are our options? And if that means we have to expend some funds, then I think that's something we need to do.
So we're going to have a commission that we move forward with establishing the volunteer fire department and what's necessary to provide the services, but at the same time not being servant.
Yeah.
That we do it ourselves.
I don't think that, because you've got levies, you got fire fees. You've got the situation that's in Berkeley County. I don't know, there may be other alternatives out there that we're not aware of. That's going on in other states.
If I may, Madam President, also part of this discussion that I've had with the different fire departments, we've talked about, is it going to possibly, one of our options is paid people Monday through Friday, let's say from 8 to 6 or whatever. Or, okay, so do we staff 3 different departments? Do we staff 4 different departments? Another department said that, if we would give them X amount of dollars, they could staff their own, have 2 paid guys in there. So I just think that it would be best to have the direction of what exactly a professional thinks that we need, depending on all these different variables that we have.
Patsy, how about we go out to bid for a firm organization, however, to evaluate what we're talking about and bring back pricing and then go from there, take a look at what they can offer us, what it costs, and then make a decision based on that, whether it comes back ridiculously priced. I won't get any argument out of it. But if it's something that comes back and we all feel that it's within reason and gives us some answers that we think we need, then we can go for it. But my motion would be now just to go out to a bid for a firm to evaluate, not to actually hire. So I would be more than happy to remove the hiring part from this and just go out to bid for a firm to evaluate our emergency services / fire departments and ambulance services.
Motion to just move to hire someone to evaluate or bid, put out to bid.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then once we get the prices back, we'll take a look at it.
Yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
If I may just have a little clarification, it's for both fire, ambulance and emergency services.
Yeah, I think while we're doing it, if they can do both, we should look at it.
We
Keep the
can
costs
see
separate.
how much the cost, but the fire is,
Fire's
I mean,
number 1,
yeah.
emergency services be number 2.
I
Make
just
that an
want to
option.
confirm that's.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I believe we have hopefully a resolution for the William Watson estate hearing.
That's correct. We have negotiated, we've reached a resolution. Contemplates that we'll be submitting an agreed order dismissing our motion to admit the will to probate in solemn form.
Now, when can we expect that?
End of the week, next week.
Yeah, next week. That
How about
works.
a week from today? That work?
Yep.
You got it?
You just do names for the record and who they
Yes.
represent.
Yeah.
John Funkhauser representing Misty Hurd.
Robert Pevler representing Sherry Watson, Sherry with a C.
Thank you.
We don't have something back by next week. We'll see you the weekend.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Makes things easier. Huh?
This isn't on our hit list of things we like to do, believe
And
me.
I spoke to both of them about the situation. Okay,
Glad you gave me time. Yeah, it's nice. That's.
okay. Number
you.
10, you're welcome. Review, discuss, consider accepting 2 board appointments for the Harrison County Farmland Protection Board with terms starting on July 1, 2025. William Suon as the new Conservative Conservation District Representative and William Coffindaffer as the new Farm Bureau Representative. It's a pleasure.
Move to approve the 2 board appointments, William Suon and William Coffindaffer to the County Farmland Protection, starting July 1st, 2025.
Motion to approve the 2 board members' appointments for William Suon and William Coffindaffer to the Farmland Board beginning July 1 of 2025. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carried. Number 11, review, discuss, consider status of resignation of the Shortline PSD board members and Shortline PSD Clarksburg Water Board merger. I believe this has been,
Madam President, we can remove this from the agenda at this time. They will not be resigning their positions at a short line.
thank you.
Yeah, please. That was my question, whether they had to right now. Great.
Okay, so number 11 is removed from the agenda. Number 12, review, discuss, consider execution of North 25th Street consent to enter property.
Yes, this was a request from the Environmental Protection Agency to enter the rail trail as delineated in the exhibits, which was provided by ACOM for some site work and to do some remediation on the rail trail. We did have some communication back and forth with the EPA just to make sure that their contractors were insured, bonded, all those types of things. They did refuse to change their standard consent to enter property, which I'm not surprised. It's the EPA. But changes were requested, but they weren't of a material nature. And I'd suggest you all go forward with the consent to enter property and allow them to complete their work.
But how much of the rail trail they don't affect through there? I'm trying to remember from the, because I know from past, Charlotte told me we capped some of the rail trail with asphalt because of EPA issues. So in the past, there's a section through there that's we've tried to remediate, I think.
We've certainly remediated a number of sections. It's a very, I'm looking at the exhibit, which is the site layout. It looks and appears to be a very limited disturbance. It's a total of, it appears to be 4 parcels along the West Fork River, and it's probably a couple hundred linear feet of access they would be using, but they'll fully repair what they use, and they're agreeing to do that.
Motion to approve consent to enter property located, yeah, for president to fix your signature.
Motion to approve the North 25th Street consent to enter property and to fix the president's signature. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Number 13, update on Greater Harrison PSD's ARPA fund project. Mr. Zach Dobbins.
Yeah, we were asked to stop in. My name is Zach Dobbins from Bennett and Dobbins. I represent Greater Harrison County PSD. We were asked to stop in, give you all an update on where we're at on the project. The sewer project is a little over $31 million. Of that funding, over $14 million was through the West Virginia Water Development Authority through their economic enhancement grant, and the requirements of when we do projects with them, their money has to be drawn down first. So that's why we've not drawn down any money yet on the Harrison County ARPA funds for the construction. But as of to date, and we have a meeting here in a couple weeks, which we'll be getting pay applications from Breckenridge, which is working on the plant, and from Pro Contracting, which is doing the line work over in Quietdale. Those should be substantial draws. Both of those organizations are pretty much in full force now. Breckenridge is over there. They're putting the water line in, correct me if I'm wrong, Kylie, to get started on the plant. And to date, we've drawn down total on the project of almost $4 million. We also have West Virginia Infrastructure Jobs Development Council monies in this project, and we also have DEP Clean Water state revolving fund monies in this project also. As soon as we draw down the economic enhancement grants, the Harrison County ARPA money will start to be drawn down for that funding, and we fully anticipate being able to meet those December 31st, 2026 deadlines, because we also have that deadline with the economic enhancement grant funding also.
How's the schedule looking on the build out?
We're currently on schedule. Contract number 1, which is the wastewater treatment plant, it will be late into next year before that is commissioned and put in service, just based on delivery schedules of the equipment, the major equipment that has to be shipped in and put in place. But as far as the site work is right on schedule. They're finishing the road to start getting equipment in, and the structural steel and foundation work starts within the next couple weeks. So the treatment plant will be a little slower moving. As far as the line work, which is contract 2 with Pro Contracting, they are on schedule. Don't want to say that everything's perfect and beautiful, as construction is rather messy, but we anticipate meeting the schedules with no issue. Contract 1 is scheduled to be completed by the middle of next summer. They will not be able to make any physical connections until the treatment plant is up and running. So there will be a little lag and delay on the completion, but we anticipate all of those being in place by December of 2026.
Great. Sounds exciting. Sounds like you got a lot going on.
Yes.
If you all need anything else or have any other questions, just feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thanks, Zach and Kylie. Number 14, review, discuss, consider countywide fireworks ordinance.
So Madam President, before you is the countywide firework ordinance that we actually discussed back in, I believe it was 2023, that was voted down. So it's the same ordinance. And then also, it's not listed on the agenda as another exhibit, but it is in your packet. This is actually the firework ordinance for the city of Shinnston, to reference that one as well. One of the items I had in my notes from the previous time we discussed this is the concern of in the county, the deputies going from different ends of the county and not arriving while these people are putting off the fireworks and then not being able to do anything. That was one of the concerns on the notes that I took from the previous meeting from a couple of years ago.
How many deputies do we have per shift? That patrol the county?
So the minimum requirements is 4 per shift. So there's like 9 deputies per shift with days off and everything else, rotation. Minimum shift requirements is 4. It can be more than that, but every shift we have a minimum of 4 on the road.
So the last time we looked at set dates. And then all other times would be
A no-no.
a no-no. Who's gonna determine the 500 feet? Is that where you set it off? Is that where it ends up? Maybe that's a little. I'd ask you how we would determine if it's 500 feet from the point of discharge, or is it the point of where it actually goes off? Or
I put in my notes, 500 linear, straight line feet of outer perimeter of any residential. I think it used to be 500 linear straight line feet, so there's not some buffer argument. And it would probably have to be tied to set off location as in where the earth is scorched by the firework type deal.
anybody that has a license is exempt? I read it right. If you get a license from the state. Or are they not exempt? So I'm trying to figure out if somebody's having a fair or festival and wants to set off fireworks.
You're gonna have to exempt fairs, events, and festivals.
So that's why I'm asking when I'm reading this. I'm just saying that we display fireworks.
It'll be easy to accept them transport, Mr. Turner, because we'll have fairs and festivals at 6 a.m. at midnight. So what we could do is just adopt the resolution with the addition of 500 feet and then simply the exemption of fairs and festivals.
Okay, the motion has been made to approve the ordinance before us today,
As presented by the county attorney,
okay,
with the
previous
verbiage of 500 feet.
linear feet to amend it to, for that.
And I guess for these purposes, scorched earth. And then to the fairs and festivals.
And you're okay with D? $1,000 fine.
And what we did.
Each discharge of a firework device is a violation, so. If I set 5 of them off of my $5,000 or 1,000.
Yeah, 5. What we did in 2023, I recall, was we surveyed the other counties who've been adopted similar ordinances, and this is what we came up with. That was 2 years ago. That's what comes to my mind. We looked at, I think, Putnam, Berkeley, maybe Marion.
And they all have.
I think it's a state issue. State's one that opened the can of worms. Now they want us to regulate it. Personal opinion, I still have an issue trying to send my deputies for the Harrison County's deputies all over when somebody starts setting fireworks off, trying to determine who did it, breaking out some way to measure it. And then who's gonna make the determination, how many of them they set off or after the fact for the $1,000 a hit. I think that's. We don't do that for litter. It's just my opinion.
And the enforcement is tough.
That's-
Municipalities, it's tough. It's kind of like the rail trail ordinance. Some of it's just moral hazard. You do adopt the ordinance and get it out there and work it the street, one or two people getting fined by the ordinance. Maybe it has deterrent effect.
And let me just, I'm throwing this, if it becomes an issue for the deputies and all this other, can we rescind it? I mean, I don't know if we want to do that, but
Certainly can.
because I see both sides. It's a tough. Okay.
I guess my question is,
Can we do
well, I mean,
a pilot?
A, we're setting times and limits, correct?
Correct.
In B, we're setting a distance.
Correct.
Is the 500 feet more important than worrying about the days of the week? I guess that's my question. You take the 500 and make it 1,000 feet. Does that make it harder for somebody to set them off near somebody's house?
The hard thing is, West Virginia topography is different everywhere. So 500 feet's different than 1,500 feet
Living
somewhere
in,
else.
that's why I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with something that.
It's not like think about oil and gas rigs and the linear footage requirement there. It's not much greater than 500.
600 feet for a moment.
So it's all subjective to some extent, in relation to what should be within the ordinance, and it's you want to be 1,000 feet.
I'm just tossing it out as I'm just trying to come up with some way to control it without. I just don't see how to control it. And we can sit here and pass this $6,000 fine and wait for somebody to call deputy and he shows up. Is this considered a hot buzz, lights flying to go?
I don't.
Go
Where'd he go? Is that what they consider?
go on up for
Where'd he
fireworks.
go?
I
I
mean,
don't know if he can answer the question or not.
I mean, that's my question. Is this or is this okay? I'll be in that area in the time and he's gonna go answer the call.
I mean, that's what you can't expect them to come from Wallace. You know, even to Clarksburg. Or vice versa. In a. Lickety split. So, I mean. You may not want to answer either. I don't blame you. I didn't figure.
Well, I'm hoping it wouldn't be a lights blazing and screaming from one end of the county to the other because somebody heard a firework. And then we're to the issue that.
I mean, we have to have a public hearing, have two more. Right?
That's
Okay.
ordinance, yes.
I'd like to see some of those, do we have any of the other counties? Ordinances, tracking?
We do, we have Berkeley, we have Putnam, I could access them online. I think there's some other ones back. happy to give them all to the commission, all vetted further. It's fair.
I think I personally would like to take a look at them, because I read this, and again, like I said, I understand. I got people do it in my neighborhood, scares the hell out of my dogs, but I'm not calling the cops. I guess I'm blessed my neighbors. We were able to come to some type of an agreement, but it's still just it's a fact. No more than dogs barking in a neighborhood, it's tough to enforce. But this one, I just don't see how we can just send deputies all over the county because a bunch of people decided to start setting fireworks off it, so. It's a tough one. Well, I think it's, again, last time, I think we talked to the sheriff about it. I can't remember what his input was, but I don't think he was super excited about this ordinance. And if we did pass it, I think I'd have to apologize to the citizens. I'm not sure that our sheriff's department would be out really enforcing it as much as some people might want, but.
Okay, the motion is on the table. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Motion carried.
So with that, Madam President, Trey can make the changes and then we can have it on the next meeting for the first reading of the ordinance, correct?
But I will send around all.
Yes. Appreciate it. Okay, number 15, review, discuss administrator's evaluation, potential executive session to discuss matters arising from the appointment, employment, retirement, promotion, transfer, demotion, disciplining, resignation, discharge, dismissal, or compensation of a public officer or employee or prospective public officer or employee. Sure. I'm gonna make the motion 6-9A. Probably should know it. Okay, motion's been made to go into executive session under 6-9A 4B2. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, and who we taking in the executive session? What's that? No, you're making the motion. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Change the mind. Okay, number 16, review, discuss, consider status of Ricon litigation, potential executive session pursuant to attorney-client privilege.
Motion to go into executive session.
Motion to go into executive session. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Got that, didn't you?
Be taken. No action to be taken on number 16.
Motion to come out of executive session.
Motion to come out of executive session, no action to be taken. Okay, number 17, review, discuss, consider authorizing the county administrator to move forward with negotiations on Route 19 property potential executive session right there it was, pursuant to 6-9A 4B9 to consider matters involving or affecting the purchase, sale, or lease of property, advanced construction planning, investment of public funds, or other matters involving commercial competition, which if made public might adversely affect the financial or other interest of the state or any political subdivision.
Move to go into executive session.
Motion to go into executive session. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carried. Motion to come out of executive session.
Yes, ma'am.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried. What's the pleasure on number 17?
property owners, public, private seller remorse. I make the motion that we cease negotiations with the Ellis property and that we then use our study to then send planning to the family in lieu of the dilapidated screen that we presently have right on the edge of Route 19, State Road.
Okay, your motion is to. I want to make sure I understand this. We're ceasing.
And I'm out. That seller's remorse. It's reasonable thing on.
Okay, so you don't want to continue with negotiations for that property.
My motion.
Okay. Any discussion on that motion?
Well, to make sure I understand, where the motion is to revoke our offer to purchase the Ellis property. Is this both pieces or just all, the whole?
You want to break it up that we still want to initiate property about the drive.
That's what I'm asking.
It's up to you guys. But clearly the settlement is from the family, they're having sellers remorse and they have to travel people on. It's that part of their family's history. And special. That's all over. They said that probably.
There I got it.
Structural engineer is identified as a bold and strain. The lack of even if it's prepared for expect the family to continue on.
Susan, got any comments? I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the motion.
No, okay, you have anything else?
I guess I'd ask the attorney if this motion does not move forward. Do we continue the way it is, or does another motion have to be made to continue the purchase of the property?
What I would like to see is a motion to continue and finalize negotiations in the near future on the property if the motion does not carry, made by Commissioner Treecroft, and to vest the county administrator with authority to do that on behalf of the county commission.
That's a motion, but on top of what?
If his motion
If
fails,
his
that
if
would
his
be
motion fails,
yes.
so do I have to make that motion before we vote?
No.
Okay.
All in favor of the motion currently on the floor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
No.
I would go ahead and make a motion authorizing the county administrator and the county attorney to continue to move forward to close on the properties on 19 and continue discussing with other property owners purchase.
The motion is to authorize the county administrator and county attorney to move forward with the closure of the one piece.
On the two
discuss-
pieces of
on
the
two
Ellis.
piece- Okay, two pieces concerning the Ellis, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 18, review, discuss, consider travel requests for community corrections employees to go to Charleston, West Virginia on June 23rd through the 25th, 2025 for the CIT Summit. Gary Hamrick and Wayne Worth. It's a pleasure.
Move to approve travel requests for Gary Hamrick and Wayne Worth.
Motion to approve travel requests for Gary Hamrick and Wayne Worth. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Laura, do you have?
So Madam President, the few things that I do have is, again, we'll have budget revisions on the next agenda. With that, we are waiting for the state auditor's office to approve the budget revisions that we submitted on May 21st. I actually followed up with an email to them yesterday to make sure that they received it, because that's unlike them, not to have them approved by now or at least give us some feedback.
Well, they were probably out of town.
Well, yeah, I know they did have a lot of trainings going on. So once those are approved, we can post them to the different budgets, then we can finalize the different line items, but I really can't do anything within the line item departments until we can get those posted. Because in some of the areas we transferred money within, which has to be approved by the state auditor's office. So besides that, I did want to mention that on June 7th is the Derek Hodson Pillar Fallen Stars Memorial 5K race that is going on. And then also you can pick up in our office, the Greater Harrison Cecil Jarvis 10K that will be held on Saturday, June 28th. So there's a change in venue, and that's what they're trying to get the word out and to advertise it. So we actually have information in the office that someone can stop by and get more details on that. And then as for all the emails and stuff from the citizens, we'll just keep compile them for you commissioners and have them separately as they are coming in. So they're all coming to one place. Other than that, I have nothing.
Mr. Hinkle?
Yes, ma'am, I would like, again, for the public to understand, we do not own the Ellis Restaurant or property. We have not purchased it. We're in the process of trying to purchase it, but we have not done that. Also, I would like everybody to know that we did do a study on what it would cost to fix the theater and put it back. The conservative was close to $500,000, which is a lot of money, and that's without actually getting inside to see any inside structural issues. That's just looking at it from the outside. So it's a little more involved than what people think it is. What I've seen of pictures, everybody wants to show the front of the screen, nice big white surface. Start looking on the sides and then behind, and you might want to step back because it's not a pretty white screen. There's cracks, there's separation issues. There's just a lot of things that aren't being realized as far as the screen goes, and it just shows that we did take a look at whether or not it was feasible. And it's just a cost that at this time I don't think the commission would entertain. I think we're trying to see if there's outside sources, but again, that would be down the road. It's not something I think that if we purchased it, we'd tear it down tomorrow. I hope you guys give us credit that we would look, but again, it's whether or not that $500,000 or $750,000 is what we want to invest in to watch. Is I learned this morning that it would be old movies. We wouldn't be seeing first run movies. So just to let everybody know, again, we don't own it. We're trying to own it, but we haven't been able to close. The other thing that I would like to say to both my fellow commissioners, last week I had the opportunity to go down to the Greenbrier for Game Changers dinner, and we were recognized. Game Changers is a very great project. I first time to attend and I was stunned at the attendance and the people that are involved in Game Changers. And I hope that Game Changers can continue to grow and that we can be part of that growth. So again, I want to thank my two fellow commissioners for supporting Game Changers. I think in the future, if we can get them down there, that I think it would be a great way to see what Game Changers does. That's all.
I would concur with Commissioner Hinkle on the Ellis property. But I'm probably the only one up here, and maybe I would like to be able to preserve the screen. Whether that can happen or not, we will see. I understand the importance to the community, but I don't know how many people went to the theater before, or the drive-in previously in the past few years. I think that there's some information I would like to know about the drive-in before I make a final decision. But yes, if we could find some funds and it was feasible for the county to take this on, then I'm for it. But if not, if there is not funds and it's not feasible, then I think we need to move on with the other projects that we have planned for that property. Mr. Treecost.
Just to follow up on a letter, email that we received from Gina Jones yesterday from her department. One of the things I think that Laura would be good is if we apply for a new fire alarm system at the courthouse. You know as well as I do, it goes in and out all the time. That's scary. So that's one of the things. I'm open for discussion right now, even though it's just commissioner comments. You guys think that would be a good idea because it's very old. And then the other thing that's very old, and it may not seem important, but for beautification purposes, the curtains in the judge's office are rags. And they're very, very expensive to replace. So I thought if you two would know what I thought would be good, if the curtains will qualify, but I'm certain that the fire alarm system would be part of the grant application process. Laura, what's the process for you putting out a press release like for the, because I didn't know anything about it. It caught me by surprise. As a commissioner, I feel like we should know about anything leaving the commission office.
You were sent, I couldn't get a hold of you on Friday. I did talk to the other two commissioners about creating an email and putting it out. Our office was inundated with phone calls and emails. I know probably each one of you individually may have gotten emails, all the messages. It was crazy. So we were just trying to centralize that. Wasn't a major decision or anything. It was just gathering information for the commissioner. So it was all going to one place and being able to share with you guys and try to cut down on all the stuff that was going on here in the office.
How did you try to get a hold of the email? Text?
I tried to call you.
And the other thing, last thing I have is for the other two commissioners' purposes. Monday afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, and all day Friday, I'm available to do the administrators review.
What days was that?
Monday, Tuesday afternoon, and all day Friday. That would be the present, that'll be the 9th, 10th, and 13th. Afternoon, all day. And that's all I have.
Okay, that's it. Ready for a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion